Hi and welcome to a new video. Today we're showing you the retrim on the car behind me, which is a 250 short wheelbase. The chassis number is 1995 GT and it was one of two cars imported by Colonel Ronnie Hoare to start Maranello concessionaires in 1960. This car recently made headlines when it was sold for £6.6 million at auction. Richard Carlton, who sadly passed away, left all of his cars to be auctioned off and the proceeds went to the RNLI. For £6.6 million, they put that towards buying 3 new ships to save lives and a great cause. He bought it in 1976 and he covered over 50,000 miles, including hill climbs and races and plenty of touring around Europe. Sounds like he had a bit of fun in it. We've been entrusted by DK Engineering, who know we do a fantastic job of this, and with our archive upstairs we've got it filled deep with 250 memorabilia that we can lean faithfully on and have this exactly how it left the factory, matching the grains, the wool carpets, the leather and the stipple grain vinyl that you see on the headlining and the cant rails. I'm just going to show you a bit of me stripping the car's interior. We document any numbers we find, matching panels. These are often made in aluminium to the car and stamped individually, and this car hasn't been apart many times and all the panels inside are original, and I can back that up with fact and I'll show you now. On my bench here you see a door panel that came off this car. I know this isn't original, it is in style, but it's got modern hardboard and the way it's stapled, not nailed, and this is stapled, it's not how it was done originally. These always warped through the tightness of the leather and door panels getting wet over the years. To find an original one is very rare. That's why we cherish our archive. This is an original door panel and it gives great information of where the holes were originally, and this has got the number of the car it came off on the back. It's a really useful tool. Here's an interesting piece of stripping. No hole here. On the original panel there was a hole, which suggests that originally that was screwed in, and the second time it was trimmed they haven't obeyed those and just pushed it into that corner. It's an original panel and you can see the original number stamped on the back. This goes in the front corner footwell. This car came to us and it had this door retainer. So when the door opens, to prevent it from hitting on the body, they've put a strap there. Normally the car door's hinge goes around and holds onto itself so the door doesn't touch the body. Over the years and wind and people getting in and out, these can stretch. So somebody's fixed that by putting these retainers on. But you can see they've only ever screwed them into an aluminium panel, which hasn't been very solid, and they've had to move them over the years. That is not original. And also you can see a couple of screw holes in the same place where whoever's trimmed this has been searching around and just decided it was easier to put a new hole in. Again, the original number. As you can see here, an original headlining from a Ferrari 250 short wheelbase. This is where our archive proves invaluable. I'll show you why. I'd like to explain further the differences on headlinings, particularly on this 250 short wheelbase to a lot of others you see. Mainly, you get the headlining, you stitch down the back of it. As you open it up, you've already created a sock that the headlining rods can slide through and then affix to the car. On a 250 short wheelbase, and a nice detail to look out for, they were originally top stitched with a sock being stitched through on the back, and that's what you put your rod through and then affix that to the car. It's very important to leave a little bit of bagginess here, and then that makes way. Once this panel is clean and tidy and all hammered straight, we'll fit this up, and that little bit of wrinklage just helps it screw up tightly and lay beautiful. I relish and love the challenge of a 250 dashboard. They've got beautiful contours and it's very difficult to get this stitch line around here and the curve over the top and have them married together perfectly so you don't get the wrinkles and the build-up of leather underneath the dash peaks. A lot of people have that leather, they slice it off and then paint the tan underneath. So it's important to look to see if these have been got out in one clean piece, which they have on this car. And we've also faithfully reproduced how it was finished through here. It wasn't folded in a stitched line. The leather was just skived off thin around the back and glued on very neatly in place. It was leather originally, and we've done it exactly how it was and matched the grain as well. You join us in the 250 cabin. As you can see, lots has happened since we were last here. And it all starts off with the underlaying of the car. There's plenty under the front bulkhead and the rear here. We've covered that in a wool carpet, and they were always vinyl bound from original. So we've done that. It's a very layered interior. So you can see the suspension turrets going first and the rear arches, and then the carpet covers all of that area. A lot of research went into this interior. The early cars had a round tunnel, and the later cars had a flatter tunnel with double piping down both sides. Normally they have a quilted back area, quite a different layout to this car. So to find out that this had a double stitch in, I knew it did, obviously, because there's so much curve and shape there. To pull that out of flat level would be very difficult. And there's a beautiful join at the front of the piping line there. It's very tight, done in Connolly leather, not vinyl, and as it should be. Here we are with a door panel finished and fitted. The only upgrade we use is these are in aluminium, so they don't buckle and warp over time. We could do them in hardboard, it's no worry to us, but the customer has chosen aluminium. And even the inside of the door pocket is finished how it should be, and not raw leather. So a few bits to finish off in the interior. Let's head over to the bench and I'll talk you through the seats. As you can see in front of me, I have one of the seats at the 250 short wheelbase. You can see it's 80% trimmed. It looks like quite a simple seat. It's not. These centres are pulled around this tube, but so are the sides, and you can't do one before the other one's done. So to get this piping absolutely perfect and to know your density of your foams, it is a balancing act. So I like to pull all these down and we leave them for a few days just to kind of take shape. There's so much shape in every part of this seat. It really is a stretch on the leather, and knowing where to shrink it to get these sitting nice, and to have that piping sitting so it's absolutely tight on the sides. It's taken me many seats to get them this nice. As you can see, the process of these seats, many hours goes into them. Firstly, they're stitch fluted on 1/2 inch foam as they were. All the shape that's stitched in to help them go over the contours of the foams. We leave them so they settle down, then we can pull and manipulate the leather and just get them absolutely how they should be. And these lines, we stitch a cable into the back of the seats, then we can pull down and tie them so we can get the millimetre perfect. And then the back of the seats are hand stitched on, and they really look quite a half finished seat with the castle wall stitching, but that's how they were done originally, and that's how we faithfully reproduced them. In the next scene, I'm going to show you this interior completely finished, and I'll talk you through the retrim. So you've joined us with the finished interior. As you can see, the seats are in the car, all the backs all screwed in, sun visors and the rear shelf, and it's got the lift up flap in the back shelf to get access to the rear spare wheel in the boot. The seats were a great challenge. You can see lots of shapes in them, and the seats aren't the same, so you can't use one pattern on the other one and save time. They're like a bespoke tailored fit. And we've really enjoyed this retrim. We've worked with DK Engineering to get all the details right, and if you go onto their website you can also see where they've documented the restoration of the complete car, so I recommend you go and watch that. And if you've enjoyed this retrim and you enjoy our videos, please like, subscribe and share, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Till then, take care of yourself.